Today I'm running a dryer vent through a cinder block wall, and I'll show the process and the tools I used to create this opening. Here's an overview of the run. I had to be this high so I'd be about a foot off the ground outside. So I'll run this pipe here and then create an angle here to match, and then a 90 into the washroom. So the issue I had in the beginning, how do you determine if you have a 3-hole block or a 2-hole? Because that would determine where to drill. I'll give an example. Here we have 3 blocks. This is an end cap block, 3-hole, regular block, 3-hole, and then the 2-hole block. So you measure over from the mortar joint, and the center is 4 inches. However, there's only 2.5 inches of space in here. So if you're running a 2-inch hole, you go right through there and you're cutting less concrete. But if you go any larger, you're going to be cutting into the ribs, so it wouldn't really matter where you cut. But if you're fortunate to have the 2-hole block, center is about 4 1/4. So you measure over 4 1/4, 4 inches down because the block is 8 inches. And then you'd have a clear pass. You're only cutting the outers. And you got a total of 5 inches. So you can easily run a 4-inch pipe through there. So this is an overview of where I'm locating the dryer vent, which is underneath that deck. Right there, I wanted it at least a foot off the ground. Did some calculations, and it turned out quite nicely. Fortunately, I have a friend that has heavy-duty equipment, and he was kind enough to let me borrow it. Thank you. 4-inch diameter. I believe that's carbide tip. I think diamond looks differently. Here's the beast. Now this is a bit overkill. You don't need this heavy duty of equipment. However, I'd rather be oversized than undersized. And if you're working with the 3-hole block, you would be cutting through both ribs of the block, and that style block would be no match for this unit. So since this hole is already created, I'll give an example of the same procedure when I did a pellet stove vent install, a few blocks down. So you measure from this mortar joint 4 1/4 inches over, and then measure down 4 inches, and that will be the center of the hole in the block. I'll line up the drill bit, and I'll hammer on the drill. For the start of it, I'll hammer right in there. Now, as soon as this meets the concrete, I won't give it as much pressure. It's said that you should just use the rotary action in the beginning, but if you lightly apply pressure, it's equivalent to the same thing. And then as I go in, I'll apply more pressure, and that will be obvious in the audio. So since this cutter is only 4 inches long, you can't use this hole as a guide to penetrate the outside wall. So what I'm going to do is use this as a guide. Came with the kit. Wow, that was a long ways. I don't know. I'll have to try it. some visitors.
Hey, Mark. I saw this big hole in the wall.
What? Oh, it pierced through, huh? Nice. Here's an example of the blowout. Since I did not drill from this side in, when it came out, it blew all this out. But it doesn't much matter, because you got this big lip that will cover most of that. But the new issue is this ring is a little bit bigger than the pipe. So it won't let it go flush against the wall. So I'm going to have to chisel that out a bit or use the rotary blade and grind that out. Nice feature. Did you hear that disengage? That's so it doesn't take your arm off. All right, there we go. Nice and flat now. So since this is not 8 inches long, it won't clear to the inside with the pipe. And so this will be my first pipe, and I can angle this any direction when I get inside. And you want this end always going opposite the airflow or outward, just like that. You don't want to use any screws. Lint has a tendency to collect on them. And we got this aluminum tape. You got a sticky side here. Peel that back right around your joint. That holds it together and seals it. Go around a couple times. So I ran a nice generous bead of glue around this plastic ring. And what I'm trying to achieve is to glue this ring to the outer portion of that. And you really wouldn't need any screws. All right. Nice. Here's the core that came out. Look at the amount of concrete it removed. And then this is the outer portion. You can tell because it has stucco and mold. Here's a shot of the inside core. Let me get some light on that. Okay, so you can see the concrete rib right there, and we're right in line with it. And this side is back just a little bit more. So you got a 5-inch cavity to work with. I could have measured over a little bit more. I'll do that on the next one when I do the pellet stove install. Got the dryer pipe coming out the wall. Had to make some changes down here in order to clear this pipe. And then I got my union. I can turn to any angle, join those two together. Get some aluminum tape on those joints. I would even suggest taping these knuckles because they have a tendency to pop apart. Finished product looks good. And here it is on the other side. So I'm in the middle of remodeling this washroom / half bath. And if you would like to follow this project or see the procedure on how to run a pellet stove vent pipe through the wall, I'll provide a link over here, over there,